Different people and teams like to work in different ways. Some prefer the visual interface of web portals, others are comfortable working directly against a REST API, and many folks are most comfortable and productive with command line tools. At Octopus, we believe in meeting you where you want to work, which is why we provide multiple ways to interact with Octopus Deploy. And today, I want to tell you all about the command line interface for Octopus Deploy. The Octopus CLI gives you a consistent, scriptable interface for managing your Octopus environment. It's built on top of the Octopus REST API using Golang, and the team building the CLI used the open source guide for command line interfaces to guide its design and user experience, ensuring it follows modern CLI best practices and patterns. The CLI lets you perform tasks like creating releases, deploying to environments, managing projects and infrastructure, uploading packages, so on and so forth. So whether you're looking to use it ad hoc for one-off tasks or build it into other scripts and workflows for automations, I think you'll find the CLI has the flexibility to meet you where you are. Let's go and take a look at it because I know that's what you're here to see. And first of all, when it comes to the installation, we've got a bunch of different options available. If you're on Linux or Mac, you can use a curl script. For Windows, we have an MSI file, and it's also available in the standard package managers like Chocolatey, Winget, and Homebrew. When you're installed, you'll be able to run Octopus at the command line interface to see the core commands and configuration commands we have available. Before we log into an Octopus instance, I first want to show you we do have support for tab completion. If I run octopus completion -- help, you can see there are commands to generate scripts for the different shells you might be using. If I rerun that for ZSH with help, it tells you how to enable the shell completion if you don't already have that enabled, and then you can use the octopus completion command to load completions in the current shell session, or to load them for all new sessions moving forward, which is what I'd recommend, and that's what I've done. Now if you were to type octopus and then hit tab, it will show you the subcommands that are available at this level. I can start typing project and then hit tab to complete it, and then put in another space and hit tab again to see the subcommands for projects. Logging into Octopus with the CLI is pretty straightforward with the octopus login command. Now, I could look at the help and see what arguments I need to provide and write those out, but one cool thing we've got is this interactive mode. If you haven't provided inputs for the required arguments, instead of giving you an error and then needing you to restart the command, we simply guide you through the configuration here. So for the Octopus server URL, because I've logged in before, it's cached my server, so I'll hit enter, but I could of course provide a different Octopus instance to log into. The CLI uses either an API key or OpenID Connect. For now, I'll use an API key. I don't want to generate a new one, but if I didn't have one and I chose yes here, it would launch the browser to my instance right to where I need to create a new API key. So we're trying to guide you through that process as best we can. I'll enter the API key and cool, login is successful and we're good to go. Now, because the API key is associated with my own account, the permissions I have using the CLI are the same ones I'd have if I was logging into the Octopus portal or using the REST API. From here, it's really a pretty intuitive and familiar command line experience. Let's do an Octopus project list to see all of the projects. Now, I didn't provide a space I wanted to list the projects for, and it's asking me to select one from this list. I can use the arrow keys to go up and down, or I could just start typing to filter the list, which is really helpful if you have lots of options to choose from for the command that you've run. Those are the projects in my space named default, but you can also set a space name to default in the CLI configuration. Going to Octopus config list will allow you to see your current configuration for the Octopus CLI. Using Octopus config set will allow you to set configurations for the CLI. I want to come down to space, then I'll provide a default value of default. That's the name of my default space. If I now run the Octopus project list command again, notice this time I didn't get prompted to select a space because it's used the one that I put in the configuration as the default. If you want to override it, you can use the -- space argument on the commands that you're running. To finish up, let's use the CLI to create something, and let's go with a project, which would be Octopus Project Create. And I'm just going to hit enter and use interactive mode again. Notice too we have some help for the arguments, so while name is pretty clear, you can enter a question mark and it will provide the description for that argument. I'll name it Octopus CLI, and I'll use the default lifecycle. I'll put it in the default project group, and I don't want to use configures code for this project, which is the default denoted by the capitalization. That all looks good, and there's a few interesting things here I want to highlight. First of all, the CLI returns a URL that I can use to go into that project in the portal. That's pretty cool. And the other thing that it provides is this automation command, which is everything I just ran in the interactive mode above, provided to me as a single line command. I really love this because if you want to automate something, you can use interactive mode to go through it for the first time, and then take the automation command the CLI gives you to understand all of the arguments and values that made up that command and use that in automations or scripts. So that is just a quick look at some of the capabilities available with the Octopus CLI. Because it is of course a command line interface tool, it means you can not only use it interactively like I just did, but you can wrap it into pretty much any automation or orchestration like scripting languages or continuous integration tools, which opens up a heap of automation scenarios. As you saw, it's all open source, available across all platforms, ready for you to go and explore. I'll put a few links below if you want to learn more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.